Hello everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom and I have just witnessed Huddersfield Town 1, Derby County 2, the return of Championship football for Huddersfield, ending in defeat, and Philippe Cocu's debut match in charge of Derby, who go again and again and again and again and again in the Championship, results in a win for him. All the goals in the first half hour, Tom Lawrence with 2, Carlin Grant with a penalty, and then Derby holding out for the win in the second half, reasonably comfortably, give or take the odd chance. Here is what happened. Huddersfield line up 4-3-3. They're going to kind of make the pitch very wide with a couple of very pacey, tricky wide players. Now, forgive me, Huddersfield are a new team to me, and I might struggle with pronunciations, especially with the right fullback. So it was Grabara in goal. Congolo is the left back. Schindler and Elphick making his debut. We've seen him for many Championship clubs. The other centre half. Here we go. Hada Janas is the right back, who I'll try not to mention. Didn't do a lot, to be fair. Hogg sits in front of the back four with Bakuna and Moy kind of flanking him in a reasonably tight midfield three to allow Diakabi, who is extremely quick, down the right, and Alex Pritchard, who got a loss, we're playing for Norwich. He's playing down the left, bit more tricky, but still a bit of a speedster, and Carlin Grant up front. Derby, well, I hadn't made too many signings. No Christian Bielik, I guess. They'll leave it a while to introduce him, the recent signing. So Philippe Cocu, honestly, taking a lot of Frank Lampard's work from last season. Couple of new faces. So Roos in goal, Bogle right back. He played a ton of games. He's probably going to grow into their most saleable asset here. Richard Keogh will probably do the show in 15 years' time, and Keogh will still be starting for Derby. Matt Clark, who I was very interested to see, especially having seen Ben White yesterday at Leeds, another Brighton loanee. He's just gone from Pompey to Brighton and loaned straight to Derby. He is in the Tamori spot next to Keogh as the loanee centre half. Scott Malone left back as a 4-2-3-1. So you've got Huddersfield and Evans as the double pivot. Joseph Soon off to the right. Dowell, who we saw for Chris Wilder's Sheffield United in the 10 position last season. Tom Lawrence on the left-hand side. Martin Waghorn up front. Immediately I'm introduced to Diakabi's pace in the second minute. Absolutely flies away. Not seen him play before, so that was a bit of a surprise. In the second minute he gets snuffed out. Lawrence gets a free kick 30 yards out, smashes it right-footed, not far over, and on 10 he gets another one, a bit more central. This time he tries to go low, this time into the wall. Dowell smashes the follow-up into Hogg's face. Derby started the better, get hold of the ball. Tom Lawrence starting to find spaces and starting to grow in confidence. You know what these type of players are like. The ball seems to give them more confidence. He gets the ball a few times and he started looking good. 19, Pritchard, nice dribble in the tight area down the right into Diakabi. Good feet by him. Beats his man, shoots from the edge, deflected over corner, and the second phase comes back in. It's Clark with the last ditch tackle. That was on 19 minutes, but Derby are going to take the lead on 21 minutes, and frankly, it's a horror show. I was at Luton on Friday to see debutant goalkeeper Simon Sluga let one through his hands. I don't know if this is quite as bad from Tommy Elphick, but it's not great on his debut. All of my Championship previews, I said, oh, and they've got proven Championship experience here with Elphick. Well, bit of a horror show from the, quote, proven Championship player here. It's coming over his shoulder, running back towards goal, bouncing ball, keeper coming out. We know this can be a dangerous position, but Elphick tries really to over-engineer a chest back to the goalkeeper, kind of with his shoulder. Totally overdoes it. Sails Grabara completely down the river here. He pats it out, but he's left his goal completely open. We know Tom Lawrence is at it in this game. He fancies it. Falls to him on the edge of the box on the right foot. Delicately, he lifts it over. The chasing defender can do nothing about it. And the first goal back at the St John's, at the John Smiths even stadium here at Huddersfield, is a bit of a calamity. Derby lead 1-0. Lawrence, Elphick with the big mistake. Pritchard in off the left, looking to reply. Hits it right footed. Good effort here. Gets the curl in this. Doesn't quite drop down. But up the other end come Derby. Double sucker punch. And this is brilliant from Lawrence. I saw Tom Lawrence on loan at Ipswich, where he was a bit indulged because he was clearly the only good player on a very bad team under Mick McCarthy, and he could basically do what he liked. In a structure, I know Derby fans would get a bit frustrated with him last season, but this was absolutely superb by Lawrence. It's down the left. They're moving the ball nicely. In it comes across left to right. It's fed inside to Lawrence, and it's really good feet here. He takes it from right to left, and I didn't think Tom Lawrence could do this with his left foot. Angles it. It's a beautiful finish, similar to Hernandez yesterday. Similar distance and flight, I guess, Hernandez in the other corner. But completely catches Grabara out, pings it top corner. Superb stuff from Lawrence for the entire first 25 minutes, really. He was finding positions. He was wanting the ball. He was using it well. 2 goals. End product from Lawrence. Could be a good season for him if he can keep this up. Brilliant stuff in the first 25 minutes. And like I say, double sucker punch. First goal capitalising on a mistake, but some quality there on that second goal. And it's 2-0. Huddersfield have it all to do. They win a corner. Bakuna, elaborate looking turn here. I'm watching it from the far corner. I think that shouldn't do anything, but I think it's Kieran Dowell, who's not a defender. And it works a treat because he falls Dowell. Dowell takes him down, and only 3 minutes after going 2-0 up, it is a penalty to Huddersfield. All happening here in this first half. Up steps Grant, sticks the penalty in, 2-1. Can they get it back? 2-2 before half-time. Let's find out. Big one down the middle, though, for Waghorn to chase after. He chests it off to Evans. Probably the wrong guy. You want this going to Lawrence the way he's playing. Evans volleys it well wide. Really end-to-end stuff. Huddersfield restart quickly, and it appears their game plan is to get it out wide to these guys, and really pacey wide players. Quick in transition, quick on restarts. Good watch this. Hard for me to keep up. Scribbling notes in my book, it has to be said. 32, Lawrence is playing really well here. Lovely ball inside the fullback. Malone's up, overlapping. It's a low cross. Doesn't quite find Waghorn, but falls to him at the second attempt. He hits it, and it's a vital block by Elphick. It's on that strong left foot for Waghorn. There, Lawrence picking the lock again to set Malone away. Diakabi counter with that pace, searing pace from him on 34 down the right-hand side. Puts his foot on it, stops, slid inside to Alex Pritchard. 20-yarder blocked out there. Quick tap free kick here. Malone slides it to Lawrence again. He's in the box and he just overcooks this. Tries to be too clever. Remember that old Romario trick where you face up and scoop the ball all the way around? Looks like he was trying something like that. Maybe overconfidence there, but certainly in a good position. Waghorn free and waiting for that one to be cut back. More pace from Diakabi. This guy in the Championship is probably going to tear a few left backs a new one, I think, with his speed. Inside to Pritchard, out to Congolo. His cross is cleared back out to Diakabi. He tries to half volley. Doesn't really look close to being on target. That one over the top. Stoppage time here. Waghorn steals it. Dowell slips it right to Josephson. He's in the inside right position into the box. His cross finds Waghorn. Good hit, right-footed. Good save. Grabara down to his left-hand side. You can see they created a fair amount of chances this first half. Derby County. Half-time, 2-1 Derby. Absolute end-to-end stuff. Chaos for the first goal, but Lawrence, really excellent performance by Tom Lawrence in this first half. The standout player on the pitch, scoring 2 goals. did over-egg it one time when he could have found Waghorn. 2 chances for Waghorn as well, 1 blocked. Good first half from Derby, good first half from Cocu. But the way Huddersfield play, they're just going to be a threat. I guess they could have no territory, and with these quick restarts and getting it down the sides, they're always going to create chances. A bit of a flamboyant turn for Bacuna, but it worked, and they're back in the game, so it could be vital there. But impressed with Derby team shape. Look solid, moved the ball nicely, and they had the star player on the pitch in Lawrence in that first half. Here we come in the second half, and it's a bit of a different tale here because it's going to be pretty much all Huddersfield, with Derby sitting back now and defending this lead. Grant and Bacuna exchange passes here. Bacuna into the blocks, blocked off for a corner, swung in here, falls to Schindler at the back post. He's right in on the goal. It's point blank. Good block by Kelle Roos in goal. Good goalkeeping that. Impressed by that. Bacuna heads the next corner over the top. Good start by Huddersfield. Immediately assert themselves on Derby as they chase this 2-1 deficit. 48. Lawrence gives it away here. Huddersfield swarm onto the press. Pritchard into the D, curls that over the top. 54. Pritchard inside for Bacuna. He blasts that over from 25 yards. Poor decision. He had men up supporting him. Then Congolo, 56, forward down the left-hand side. Out back to Moy. Good effort by Moy. He swipes across this one. Cuts across the shot, right-footed. Keeper's not getting it. Flies low just past the far post. All Huddersfield. Derby cannot get out. Looked like they were very persistent with their restarts with the short goal kicks. We see all the teams now leaving the 2 centre-halves inside the box, but detached now in the midfield, not dropping in, clearly under instructions not to do so. But it did look, forgive me for being an old curmudgeonly English football fan, it did look like Derby needed to get 10 yards further up the pitch and maybe one long goal kick and just try and force the play down. They could not get out for this period. And fortuitously, I think what happens next actually helps Derby in a way, because the swarm stops because Bacuna gets hurt for Huddersfield, which means Mbenza comes on to make his debut, which means a little switch of system. It looked like 4-2-3-1. Moy dropping in next to Hogg. Diakabi, Pritchard and Mbenza are going to be the 3 off the front. And I thought from that moment, Derby did get off the pitch. One less body in that centre midfield position. I thought actually Huddersfield missed Bacuna and were slightly, and not less dominant because Derby did retreat a lot, but less able to swarm around in that midfield area, let's just say. 66 worked out left to Malone. He crosses from deep. Really difficult chance for Waghorn here. Tries to glance the header. Neck muscles there well over the top. First Derby attack of the second half. They're 66 minutes in. You can see they are sitting back and the block is getting lower and lower. Kachunga comes in for Diakabi. Straight swap there. What you lose in pace, maybe a little bit more guile you get from Kachunga. Bennett comes in for Josephson. Straight swap there down the right hand side. Bit of fresh legs there, really, the explanation, I think. And Benza to Congola down the left hand side. Lovely cross on the run from the overlapping Congola at left back. Falls for Kachunga at the back post. It's a huge chance. He gets the control. He's waiting for the ball to drop, and it's a terrible finish by Kachunga. He volleys it high, way over the crossbar. That was the chance to put it back at 2-2 still with about 12 minutes, and if you include the stoppage time, about 15 minutes to play, would have really made the ending of this game different. Derby getting deeper and deeper now. The sort of 4-2-3-1 has now become a 4-5-1. Lawrence right in here on the left wing. Bennett dropped right back in. Very low block. What they have, they hold now, slowing down the restarts, the dark arts. Nicely done, I have to say, by Derby. And Benza, long ranger on 84, comfortably wide, and they're stopping the flow now of chances. I think Huddersfield are missing Bacuna here. Knight comes in for Dowell. Again, straight swap by Cocu. He's just freshening it up. Sat with the same tactics all game. Just dropped his wide players back as the game went on. Colin Quainer, who I saw on loan at Ipswich, very popular here at Huddersfield, which surprised me a little bit considering he was loaned out. He comes in for the last few minutes, but really Derby do a very professional job. Some of the Huddersfield fans won't like me saying because they won a few free kicks, let's just say. But very professional in working this last few minutes of stoppage time out. And Derby, a seasoned championship team, get the victory. Philip Cocu starts off with a win. Let's talk about Huddersfield first, just down from the Premier League. When I flip through their squad and look at the transfer fees, it looks like there's a lot of quality here. They did come up against the playoff final losers, and really, Roos was there, Bogle was there, Keogh, Malone, Huddleston, Everson, Joseph Soon, Lawrence and Waghorn, all there, and Dowell was getting promoted with Sheffield United. So I just think Huddersfield weren't quite ready for Derby today, but I can see Huddersfield doing a lot of damage in this division. They look like they've got a fair amount of quality. Bit of an aberration by Elphick, really, but a lot of threat out wide with the pace of Diakabi and Pritchard. Felt Grant might have been a little bit isolated. It was like he had to kind of play his own game while the fullbacks and the wide players linked up and the midfielders linked up. He kind of just had to join in as and when he can. But I think if they can get this business of restarting quickly, keeping a high tempo, making games end to end and certainly fast and stretched, which they did manage to do today, I think they can do a lot of damage. And Benza obviously came in. He's a new signing as well. So I wouldn't worry too much if I were a Huddersfield fan. I think there'll be a short adjustment period. And I think people like Elphick, Schindler, Hogg, Moy particularly, Moy became more of an influence when Bakuna wasn't there. But I thought Huddersfield were a better attacking force with three. I think there's a lot of quality in that team, and I wouldn't be panicking if I was a Huddersfield fan. Interesting debut for Philippe Cocu. Frank Lampard, in the main, a 4-3-3 type guy, rotated between 4-3-3 and 4-2-3-1. Cocu, little bit stiffer, I thought, on the team shape than Lampard was. But what Cocu is going to have to do, as Mel Morris gradually spends less and less money at Derby, it seems, each year, and the FFP comes closer and closer to biting the Rams, although they do keep selling and regenerating and selling the stadium and whatnot. What he's got to do, which I saw good signs of today, is take what Lampard had, i.e. split centre-halves, full-backs that are one experienced one and one young one, and use what he had last season. Interesting to see where Bielik fits in. He's not going to play centre-half. It looked like Keogh and Clark. Clark looked nice. Brighton now have got Webster, White, who's on loan at Leeds, and Clark. So it looks like they've got all the ball-playing championship centre-halves in their squad over at Brighton. So looking forward to seeing how Clark goes. Maybe Bielik slides in Huddleston or Evans' position there. Interesting to see how that one plays out. The three across the front look good. Need a big season from Dowell. Impressive stuff. And really the star man, obviously, was Lawrence. A really quiet... I mean, he's a powerful player, so I don't want to say virtuosic first half hour by Lawrence, because he's not that subtle a player sometimes. It's often very explosive. But he really was the difference in that first half hour. Excellent stuff from Lawrence. If you stop the game at about 30 minutes before he gives that ball away, I'm giving him pretty much a 9.9 out of 10 for that performance. So interesting to see how we go as things go forward. Is there more transfer business to be done by these two teams? We should wait and see. Ticking on. Thursday will be here very quickly, in 3 days, in fact, for those of us who can add up. So great start for Derby. They'll be wanting to just push on. I always talk about 2-year plans in the Championship. If they can merge Lampard's plan into Cocu's plan, take the positives from last season, they need to improve, obviously, because they didn't quite make it, just stuck in the playoffs, lost in the final, then could be a good season for Derby in terms of being in that top 6 all over again. So great start for Cocu. Let me know what you think. Huddersfield fan, how do you see it panning out? Do you agree with me? Not really a time to panic. I think just came up against a very championship ready team today. Derby fan, what's the buzz with Cocu? Do you agree with me that you just need to take last season, add to it, keep that plan going, keep that continuity, keep Roos and Bogle and Keogh, Malone churning it out. They know the Championship, and that experience counts for a lot. Get involved in the comments. Really interested to know what people thought of the game and what you think of my assessment. Agree? Disagree? That's fine. Just be polite in the comments. We know YouTube can be a bit of a cesspool with people not behaving themselves, let's just say. If you enjoyed my review today, Derby fans, I guess we know each other quite well, but if you're a Huddersfield fan and you're new to the channel, I do this all season. Well worth hitting the subscribe button. I'll be at all sorts of games, throwing in some Ipswich games as well when I can. So well worth hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell. If you are a Derby fan and you've seen my work before and you enjoyed it, I'm now on Patreon. So here comes the sales pitch. I've put a shitload of money in my car and into football tickets. Not quite breaking even on the old YouTube ad revenue. Hopefully one day I'll have thousands of subscribers and we'll be able to. But in the meantime, I've set up a patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. And if you enjoy what I do, you'll always be able to watch it for free. But if you feel like just helping me out on Patreon, the tier is only $5, so it's the equivalent of buying me a pint, basically. That would really help me out in the meantime as I try and surge towards a good YouTube following. That being said, sales pitch over and the end of my 4 reviews in 4 games. It's been quite the weekend at Luton, at Burton, at Bristol and Huddersfield. So I'm going to sign off, say goodbye, get involved in the comments, follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom, Patreon, and you'll be my hero forever. Over and out from the car park at Huddersfield. Huddersfield 1, Derby County 2. See you soon.